Yo, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Prison Break Raw. I'm your host, the one and only Big JD. Go ahead, get this channel subscribed, share at least some messages or comments, thumbs up for the like, notification bell to be informed on all episodes when they drop. Get a lot of people asking me, hey, Big JD, where do you stand on the political issues? Are you Republican? Are you Democrat, conservative, progressive? What are you? Because you seem to be regurgitating a lot of right-wing tinfoil hat conspiracy theories that perpetuate racism and hatred and destruction of the middle class and blah, 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 blah. People ask me, shouldn't you be out there with the Democratic Party as a socialist or a progressive, fighting the draconian prison system and abolishing the death penalty and doing all these things since you've been inside? We're going to go ahead and break all that down, and you're going to learn just exactly why and how I became a libertarian in prison and why I believe that libertarian views and libertarianism is the way to go in this country, and is probably going to be the only thing that'll ever save any of us, and is probably the only thing that really makes sense in addressing a lot of these issues and cutting away all this wasteful spending on shit that just don't make any sense out of people's lives. You're going to understand it from somebody who's actually experienced what it means to be under complete government control. Somebody that's been incarcerated. If you've ever been incarcerated, you have experienced a prototype synthetic communist country to a certain degree. I mean, it may not necessarily be a nation or a country that has a president or an elected body, but it is controlled in an authoritarian way. That's what prison is. You are restricted of all your rights. All your rights have been taken from you, and you are placed in this controlled environment, taken out of society because you are considered to be a threat to the safety of society. That's what it's said. Whether you're innocent or guilty, whether you've been convicted in a court of law, whether you just pled guilty, is immaterial. The system is still the same. It is designed to control you in all aspects of your life. They tell you when to wake up, when to go to bed, when to go to chow, when to get up from the table, when to go to rec, when to come back from rec, when to shit, when to eat, when to move, when to do anything. And if they want to come and snatch you up in the middle of the night and throw your ass in a dungeon for whatever reason, they could do that too. If you're going to get shot, they could do that too. It doesn't matter what it is. Prison is a totalitarian, communist type of a setting. It's complete and total control of your life, and everything is provided to you. Everything is given to you. Your food, your mail, your electricity, your water, your toilet paper, all these things are given to you. That is what it is. That's basically what the end result of what communism would be. Everything is distributed to you according to your need. So how did I become a libertarian? Well, everything that I just said pretty much sums up how I became a libertarian. I get a lot of people that accuse me of a lot of different things, which just shows that most people don't listen to anything that I say. Or if they do, they listen to about 20%. And this is most people, this is not all of you. But a lot of you, I think you get on here and you're just looking for something to be triggered on, and then you go full-fledged into your emotional, irrational rant that doesn't make any sense and just tells me you didn't listen to anything I said and you haven't been paying attention to anything that I said. Because on one hand, I'm a racist. On the other hand, I'm a race traitor. I can't be both. I'm either one or the other. I mean, you got to make up your mind. I'm either a racist or a race traitor. What is it? Okay? So that right there shows me that most of yous don't pay attention to what I'm saying. So hopefully you will pay attention to this one and you will understand my political views and my view on the world as it currently is according to my experience. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be yours, because as a libertarian, I believe in free will, freedom of your own mind, to be a free thinker, and free to choose what you want to do in life. But you have to understand that everything has consequences, right? So here it goes. Here's what I believe, and here's where I stand on all the issues that are currently going on in this country, in the world in general, right? Libertarians believe in limited government. They're skeptical of the way government is involved in economics and how they have inserted themselves into the free market and whatnot, this and that. Complete and total control of private property is held dear to pretty much all libertarians, unless, of course, you're a social libertarian, and that's a whole nother ballgame. Libertarianism is not exactly one thing. It's many different directions and avenues and branches and wings of one thing that everybody holds dear: personal liberty, to be free to be who you are and what you are, and to pursue your dreams without being prevented by any kind of government control or any kind of control that the masses or a mass group will put over you. Nobody can step on somebody else's right to pursue their own dreams and their own happiness. Nobody can step on your direction in life unless, of course, it harms somebody else. Now, this is what's really important in my mind as far as being a libertarian. You're free to be a scumbag. You're free to go out and murder 1 million people, rape, rob, and steal. But you are also free to suffer the consequences of those actions. Now, here's where I break ranks with a lot of libertarians, right? I believe in the death penalty. I believe the death penalty is necessary. If you harm, rape, and murder children, old people, your wife and kids, whatever it is, you're some kind of serial freak, weirdo, you should be executed. You should be shot, gassed, stoned, clubbed, set on fire, whatever it is to eliminate you as the problem to other people's pursuit of liberty. That's why I have taken a stance on the death penalty, and when people ask me to get on board to abolishing it, I will not, because I believe that it is necessary in certain circumstances. I don't believe that it's necessary in all circumstances, but in most circumstances, especially when it involves harm to children or something, the elderly, or even women to a large extreme, I believe that it is necessary. I break ranks with the libertarian views when it comes to the death penalty. My libertarian views on prison as it currently is. I don't believe in the prison system as it currently is. Neither do a lot of libertarians. Most don't believe in the prison system as it currently stands right now. I believe in abolishing the prison system as it currently stands and create what's called a therapeutic rehabilitative center that leads towards, incentivizes rehabilitation that leads towards a complete restoration of all constitutional rights, including your right to bear arms. Where do I stand on the right to bear arms? I believe everybody has a right to bear arms. I don't believe the government or any focus groups in this country has a right to decide who should have guns and who should not have guns. Everybody has a right to defend themselves. We live in a cold, vicious world, people. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. A lot of you believe that it's tulips and roses and grass is green and the sun is shining and the doves are flying, but it is not like that. It is a very violent, vicious place where there's a lot of very violent, vicious, and dangerous people. And you must be able to defend yourself. Because if somebody kicks open my door, I can't get on the phone and say, oh, hold on, don't kill my family and rob me. Let me call the cops and let them handle it. They might not show up for 15, 20 minutes, in which case you're already dead. You at least have a fighting chance if you have that gun. You may be dead anyways. A lot of people say, well, they might, whatever this, blah, whatever. You still would have a fighting chance if you have that gun as opposed to not having it. Everybody has a right to defend themselves. Everybody has a right to bear arms. Everybody has a right to vote, regardless. Whether you've been convicted of a felony or not is immaterial. Your right to participate in the political system is guaranteed to you by the Constitution. Libertarians, especially myself, believe that that should never be infringed upon, because if I'm paying taxes, I have a right to vote, or else don't charge me any taxes. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Don't charge me any taxes. Libertarians' view on racism is the same as what my view on racism is. It's weak, judgmental-minded nonsense by people that have no kind of self-esteem whatsoever. Bottom line. But in my view of it, I expand on that. Racism, to me, comes in many different forms, many different shapes. It's not necessarily only white supremacy or the controlling, privileged ruling class. It is also in many different other forms and practices. A lot of people, in my opinion, and from what I've seen in my experience, people that claim that they are anti-fascist or anti-racist that fight racism, most of those people are racist themselves because they share such a deep hatred of themselves and a shame and a guilt over something that basically has nothing to do with them, really. More people that go against racism are probably just as racist themselves or undercover racists, because it's like the old thing about priests that used to fight against homosexuality, and yet in the back they're having sex with little altar boys. It's the same thing. To me, I believe that people that fight racism are just as racist, and I believe the only way that you could deal with racism itself is by education and understanding that every single one of us is here. We're not going anywhere. You're not going to eliminate or destroy a whole race, and everybody has a right to pursue their dreams, and whatever position that you get in life is basically however you apply your strategy and your goal setting to get there, because your skin color doesn't determine what your political status is, what your popularity is, where you are going to be placed in the world. It is all up to you. It is an individual choice, and how much will and drive you have to push yourself forward. A libertarian such as myself believes in complete pragmatism. Whatever works, right? If the thing that we're pushing towards will benefit all people, well then great, let's do it. But in a lot of ways, as far as like healthcare for all, the way I look at it, and the way I think a lot of other libertarians look at healthcare for all, that a lot of the socialist agenda is pushing, that it is a very destructive practice to involve the government in something like this. People know that what makes a country great is when everybody is functioning well, when everybody is healthy and happy. What better way to do that than to create more focus on nonprofit organizations such like that actually help people get healthcare, help people pay for their prescriptions and their medical costs. I've had to access nonprofit organizations in this matter. They're out there, but if we as a collective whole put more focus and more money into nonprofit organizations and heal ourselves and help ourselves, then we don't need government controlled healthcare. It just doesn't make sense at that point. It's just a lot of money we're paying for people that may not even need it. My view on drugs, narcotics, drugs, all that stuff, is I believe that a complete legalization will lead to a reduction in crime and a reduction in the prison population. Because drugs, on a libertarian perspective, is a personal choice. As long as it's not being given to children, then it's okay. But then again, alcohol is legal, and that's perfectly fine to a lot of people out there. But why not all the other drugs? Why not make them all legal? What's the big deal? It's a personal choice, right? They're going to get into the hands of kids just like alcohol is, but alcohol is legal and nobody's trying to illegalize it. So I believe drugs should be legalized, and it should be pursued in a profitable fashion for whoever chooses to distribute them and give them to people that look to have entertainment in their lives, or they need them for whatever reason, or they use them for recreational purposes. It's a personal choice. Same thing with prostitution. I believe that prostitution should be completely legalized. Who are you or the government or any of yous out there? Who are you to say that something like this should be illegal? It's two consenting adults that are involved in this. If you legalize prostitution all the way across the board, it would completely cut down human trafficking and the exploitation of children, because it would be more seen out in the public eye. Best way to eliminate a lot of these things and a lot of these problems that we have in our country is to just legalize them, because a lot of the laws are based upon stuff that is an individual choice. I mean, homosexuality used to be illegal at one point in time, but a lot of libertarian ideas had actually moved away from that, because if somebody is attracted to the same sex, that's none of your goddamn business. That's none of my business. That's up to them. The way I look at it is like this: the government, keep your business up out of my bedroom, out of my wallet, out of my bloodstream, and out of my holster. And that's what it really means to be a libertarian. Why would I want to be in complete government control? Why would I want to be under that system? Anybody that's pushing for socialism, that moves towards communism, social democracy that moves towards socialism, that moves towards communism, all you're asking me to do is to sign up for complete government control of my life. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to have that once again? If I wanted that, I would just go back to prison. Why would I want to do that out here? Why would I want to get taxed to the hilt? And if I ever did make it and become a millionaire, why would I want the government coming and say, all right, you got to give me half your shit? Who are you to demand everything that I worked hard to get? A lot of millionaires in this country are self-made millionaires. Why are you going to tax them? They're talking about, oh, no, we're talking about taxing the billionaires or whatnot and this and that. They are talking about taxing everybody. Everybody, man. Because you can't just tax a very small group of people and think that's going to pay for everything. Think of how many people are in this country. Think of how much your medical bills are a month. Multiply that by 12 months. Now multiply that by about what? 400 million people that are in this country. You got to think about this and allow this to set in and make sense for you, right? I don't believe in government control of my life in any way, shape, or form. I cannot become a Democrat because they talk out of both sides of their mouth. Big time. On one hand, they're talking about social equality and justice for all and all that. And on the next side of their mouth, they're telling me that I don't have the right to bear arms because I'm a felon. None of them in the Democratic Party are challenging the clause in the 13th Amendment that says that we are slaves the minute we are convicted of a criminal offense. They're not doing any of that. They're hypocrites to the greatest degree. A lot of them are. They're hypocrites. They talk out of both sides of their mouth. They pimp and pander to all these different groups and focus groups and whatnot. Can't get on board with that. As far as the Republicans are concerned, can't get on board with with a group of people that are just too closed-minded with their ideological religious beliefs and so conservative to the point to where they stifle progress. I believe in progress. I don't believe in sudden and fast, rapid progress. I believe in gradual progress, but not as slow as a lot of conservatives, because they believe that progress should be slow and should move very slowly. Don't agree with that. So these are my views. This is where I stand as far as being a libertarian. This was crafted and formed over the years of being in prison because I come from a solid blue-collar Democratic family, but I can't get on board with a lot of these social agendas and this social justice idea of things because a lot of them are irrational. They're looking to shoot a gun in all different directions and hit multiple different people, blaming and shaming people and all this stuff like that, and I'm not with it, man. I'm just not with it. As far as like a lot of these other rights, as like abortion and stuff like that, abortion is a personal choice. But this is why I can't be a conservative, because I believe that abortion is a personal choice. I believe in legalizing all narcotics and prostitution. That's why I couldn't be a conservative. I believe everybody has a right to bear arms no matter what their mental status is or whatever. And I believe in the death penalty. That's why I can't become a Democrat. So the libertarian view on the world is actually more pure, actually more common sense grounded, and it makes a lot more sense, and it actually yields a lot better results than the current two idiotic parties that we have going on right now. So here it is. This is what my political views are. This is where I stand. If you're going to call me something now after this point, you want to call me a racist or a right-wing nut job or whatever, you didn't listen once again. Go out there and get you some goddamn Adderall or whatever it is that helps you think, Ritalin, and watch it again. But these are my political views. This is where I stand on the world. And that's what it is. Prison Break Raw, uncut, uncensored, no holds barred, non-sugarcoated, not politically correct, all up in your face, slapping you with that dick of reality, and I'm out.